Story 1. Ada for telling my sisters to take care of their own fucking kids. I'm 24 the youngest of my parents, 3 kids. My older sisters are Sarah, 28F, and Liv, 26F. Sarah and Liv were BFFs growing up, always together, shared everything. The whole TV trope of close sisters. That was my sisters. The other part that was very TV-like was their anti-boy rhetoric, and specifically, anti-brother. From my earliest memories, I was an outsider in my own family. Sarah and Liv, inseparable since childhood, formed an impenetrable duo that left no room for a little brother. Their disdain for me wasn't just the typical sibling rivalry. It was a constant, deliberate exclusion that bordered on cruelty. I can still hear their voices echoing through the years. "You're so embarrassing. Boys are gross. We wish we only had sisters." Each comment, each rejection, chipped away at my sense of belonging. Our parents tried to intervene, doling out punishments when their behavior crossed lines, but the underlying issue persisted. Family therapy sessions became a battleground. I'll never forget the day both my sisters loudly declared they would never love me, that they wanted someone to take me away forever. The hurt of that moment still lingers, a scar that never quite healed. My parents, recognizing the toxic dynamic, worked hard to provide me with external sources of fulfillment. They encouraged my hobbies, supported my friendships, and ensured I had a life outside the shadow of my sister's rejection. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it gave me the strength to forge my own path. As we grew older, the divide only widened. I was systematically excluded from every major life event. When Sarah got married, I wasn't invited. When both sisters started having children, I wasn't even notified of their births. No announcements, no social media connections. I might as well have been a stranger. Over time, I've come to terms with this reality. I no longer harbor hope for reconciliation or a change of heart. The wounds of childhood have calcified into a resigned acceptance that we will never be a close-knit family unit. So when Sarah and Liv approached me recently about babysitting their children, I was caught off guard. They framed it as if I should be grateful for the opportunity to be involved in their lives, saying I should help since I'm supposed to be family or whatever. The audacity of their request, after years of deliberate exclusion, was staggering. I couldn't help but roll my eyes, earning me accusations of having a shitty attitude. In that moment, years of pent-up frustration and hurt came pouring out. I told them, in no uncertain terms, that they could take care of their own children, and that they wouldn't be using me after 24 years of wishing I didn't exist. Their response was to accuse me of being just as bad as them, as if my refusal to be their on-demand babysitter somehow equated to years of emotional abuse and exclusion. As I reflect on this interaction, I can't help but feel a mix of anger and vindication. Part of me wonders if I should have taken the high road, if this was a missed opportunity for reconciliation. But a larger part feels justified in standing my ground, in refusing to be used by people who have never treated me like family. Am I the a-hole or not? Comment 1. Not the a-hole. They clearly told you they didn't want you in their family and went out of their way to exclude you even as adults. You owe them nothing. They are basically strangers to you who happen to be related to your family. And accusing you of being as bad as them is absurd. They got their wish. No brother, they should deal with it. Comment 2. So they admit they know they were bad, and yet still do not apologize or make any kind of amends, only coming with a demand of you. They are claiming family after never treating you like family. No, you telling them what you did is the only response they were ever going to get, not the a-hole. Story 2. AETO. For telling my wife she can either sleep with the cat locked in with her or get rid of him. My wife rescued a cat a year ago. He is the most frustratingly annoying creature on the planet. From the moment this orange ball of fur entered our home, our lives have been turned upside down. What was meant to be an act of kindness has morphed into a never-ending nightmare of sleep deprivation and constant chaos. This cat, for lack of a better term, is a menace. His incessant screaming for attention pierces through every moment of our day and night. There's no respite, no moment of peace that isn't shattered by his relentless demands. Sleep has become a distant memory. I can't remember the last time I made it through a night without being jolted awake by his wailing. We've exhausted every avenue trying to address this issue. Thousands of dollars have been poured into vet visits and behaviorist consultations, Each expert assures us that he's healthy, that his needs are being met. Some have even suggested, with a hint of amusement, that it's simply his nature as an orange cat to be, well, an asshole. The nights are the worst. His cries for wet food echo through the house, a constant barrage that wears down even the strongest resolve. And when he's not screaming, he's scratching at walls and doors, his eyes fixed on me in an unnerving stare that feels like psychological warfare. I've dealt with my fair share of challenges. As a single father for 7 years, I juggled long work days with the demands of raising a newborn. But even that pales in comparison to the torment this cat inflicts. My wife, bless her heart, recognizes the difficulty but is hesitant to rehome him. She fears he won't be adopted, that he'll end up euthanized. While I understand her concern, I've reached my breaking point. I presented her with an ultimatum. Either she moves into the garage with the cat at night and deals with him solo, or we find him a new home. It's harsh, I know, but I'm beyond caring at this point. My need for rest, for a semblance of normalcy in our home, has overridden any sense of obligation to this feline menace. My wife is understandably upset. She argues that we took on this responsibility together, that we should continue to seek solutions as a team. She balks at the idea of shouldering the burden alone or risking the cat's fate in a shelter. Our kids have weighed in too, painting me as the villain in this scenario. Yet, their judgment rings hollow, given their refusal to assist with the cat's care. It's easy to criticize from the sidelines when you're not the one losing sleep night after night. As I sit here, penning this at my son's suggestion, I find myself at a crossroads. On one side, there's the commitment we made when we brought this cat into our home. On the other, there's my sanity, my health, and the overall peace of our household. I'm open to hearing judgments, to gaining perspective on this situation that has consumed our lives for the past year. But as I brace myself for another sleepless night, I can't help but wonder if I'm truly in the wrong for wanting to prioritize my well-being over that of this demanding, disruptive cat. Am I the a-hole or not? Comment 1. Not the a-hole. You are at your wit's end, and it's clear that something must change. But before you accept a euthanasia solution for this orange oligarch, consider an intermediate solution. Make a nice little area with water, food, litter box, and a comfy bed for him in the garage. Be kind to him and feed him well during the day, and put him with some provisions in the garage at night, away from you both and the kids. Get him in the morning. Keep to the same times each day. Treat him well, but make it clear that this is a permanent schedule. He will complain. Your wife and kids will complain. But you deserve the opportunity to have peace and a full night's rest, and it's not cruel to the cat. Comment 2. Not the a-hole. I wonder if your wife realizes that the cat has trained the two of you to feed him every hour. Clearly the wailing and crying is working for him. An animal behaviorist should have told the two of you a long time ago to give the cat 2 reasonable portions of a nutritious cat food per day and remove uneaten food until the next meal, no matter how much he carries on. With some tough love, you could have gotten this behavior under control if you'd started right away. However, it's clear that you're now at your wit's end, need sleep, and a less stressful home situation. And you've tried many things that didn't help. Therefore, getting rid of the cat is the right thing. However, I suggest that looking for a cat rescue that might be able to rehome the cat would be the most humane solution.